Instagram, renamed it, rebranded Instagram in the end of 2011. By September of 2012, by the end of September 2012, he sold his Facebook for $1 billion. So, what role does intellectual property have to play in this? I know I haven't talked about intellectual property in detail, so I'm going to go through Kevin's story. After we go through Kevin's story, then we'll go back and we'll talk about intellectual property. Another example of $1 billion. We also have $1 billion plot. So intellectual property is not the magic key or the magic potion, but knowing how to use it can accelerate your growth when you're looking at business. Right here, we're talking about be more like tech. So here, most people here, how many people here have a experience coding and doing some type of tech? How many people are here wanting to learn about this type of, learn more about opportunities in tech and development? I started off as an app developer. I used to code iOS apps and manage a team of programmers and graphic development designers. Doing that process, well, let me leverage to get it to my business. I'm saying that most of the time when we talk about business or tech, we're looking for a job in Facebook. We're not in the thought space or the mindset of thinking about how do I create my own business. We're looking at how do I get a job in Facebook or in Google or at Under Armour. So we're thinking of how to leverage our skills to get a better job. What I want to show you about Kevin's story is just follow his mindset and see the difference in his thinking. Because he gets jobs, but he's putting something together and he's got to leverage 1 year, $1 billion. So first, where did Kevin start? He's born in He was kind of upper middle class. His father is an executive. Executive is mother was a tech. So he was exposed to that as a child. Went to Monster, Swap It, and later Zipcar. So he's in the mindset. He knows that you work for a company. You can work for different companies. This is his mindset. He applied to go to Stanford. Anybody got an idea why he went to Stanford? I'll have a guess. Why do so many entrepreneurs and business owners come out of Stanford University? Anybody? Okay.
They got a great program.
Great program. I almost went to Stanford myself. I sat there. They had a entrepreneur's lunch hour. When I got there, when I was visiting, this was back when I was thinking about going to grad school, and I met with them. They had CEOs, active CEOs, a guy from Yahoo and another Fortune 500 company. They were Stanford graduates, and they were putting the students through this challenge about how do you analyze a company. Some of you may have seen it now. It's called the one-page startup model. They have 7 areas, but it was similar to that. They were going through that. They were analyzing different companies, people in the audience, the students were pitching. This was just Thursday at Stanford. It wasn't anything special. They have a culture that produces entrepreneurs. They have a culture of mindset that produces a mindset where they leverage their ideas they expect to have a $1 billion company. That's just what you do. So he said, well, let me go to computer science. I don't like computer science, but I do know that management science and engineering, that's a place where my dad was an executive, my mom worked for these startups. I know that's a place where I can move around and learn and grow. This is Kevin's story. So while Kevin is going through school, he becomes interested in photography. It's very important because Instagram is a photography app. It's a hobby. And one of the things one of his professors shows him with his cool camera, says, look, you can, it's cheap, but it makes vintage looking photos. So, the vintage filter that we have on Instagram, well, this takes photos in that vintage field. So he's developing an interest, a hobby, something he's passionate about, which is photography. Also, right before senior year in Stanford, he takes advantage of the Stanford connections. He gets connected with the founders of Twitter. He gets connected working with a company they're founding. So he's already using his network, leveraging his alumni network while he's actually actively in school with some very pivotal people. After he graduates, he works for Google, and he works with marketing, and then eventually ends up in Google's merger and acquisition division. So he's learning how companies are valued, how you buy and sell companies, what makes a good company for Google. All this, we're going to get back to intellectual property, but I want you to get the mindset. I said Kevin made close to $1 billion in 1 year, right? Do we see all this going into that, though? He didn't start there. After 3 years at Google, he leaves Google. He starts working at a social media travel site called Nextstop. Facebook buys Nextstop. So he now has a relationship with Mark Zuckerberg. Again, he's building his connections, learning. We see something that's common. He's learning how companies are valued, how ideas are used to create value for companies, and how business is transacted among companies. Around the same time, he goes back and says, let me work my own app. I really like photography. I'm gonna name it bourbon after my favorite drink. And he starts saying, well, let's see if we can do a location-based photo sharing app. How many people know about photo sharing apps? Is Instagram the first?
No.
Can we name another one that's maybe been around? Photo Bucket, what else? Flickr, what else? Anybody? There are a number of photo sharing apps out there. So this is a hobby. This is a hobby. He's looking at, and it's not called Instagram this one, it's bourbon. And because of his relationship, he went to Stanford. That's a good leverage builder. The fact he went to Stanford, he reaches out to venture capitalist Steve Anderson and Mark Andreessen. Mark Andreessen founded Netscape. So these are, venture capitalists in Silicon Valley. $250,000 is not really even a seed round for venture capital. They're saying, okay, we know you, Kevin. Here's some play around money. We like the idea. Let's see what you come up with. So he raised a couple of rounds of funding. He's able to build a team of staff. He reaches back in his network. He reaches out to a Stanford grad who also was working on an app. So let's bring your mind to bourbon. Once he gets the pieces together, he has his epiphany. He said, I don't really have that many followers on my photos. And his wife says, on the beach, that's because you don't use the filters that your friend uses. He has lots of followers because he uses filters. We should probably just integrate filters into the app. He integrates filters into the app, changes the name to Instagram to make it instant Telegram, and Instagram is born. Instagram we know. So this happens in October of 2010. Very important. This is intellectual property, changing a name, getting a trademark, securing that name legally. So at this point, nobody knows what Instagram is. Had they not gotten a trademark at this time, what would have happened had they built this huge company and didn't own the name? Somebody else can own the name. They need extort you. Like somebody buys a website name, and then they sell it to you to be your own name. But they sell it to you for tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars because it's yours. But you didn't do the proper diligence to protect it. So anything that we think about before we begin the work of execution, it's also important to do the diligence of securing the intellectual property. Meaning taking the time to, is that name available? Google it. Look it up at the Secretary of State. Look at the website, look at the trademark website, the USPTO. This is free. You don't pay anybody for this. You can do it yourself. Securing it, getting a trademark costs $225. Start the process. If you get some feedback, you might need an attorney. It should cost you no more than $1,000 total. To get a corporation with a name, $300 here. Actually, $175, but if you get it, I think $75, but if you get it expedited, it ends up being about $300 if you get an LLC here in Maryland. It's well worth it to take these proper steps. The steps that you take to build a business, to get a trade name, to get a trademark, are the same steps that Instagram, Facebook, any of the other names we know and love. They have to go through the same diligence. So before you invest in executing and building a brand, and investing your time, energy, and resources in building your virtual presence, make sure you have secured intellectual property. So they secured intellectual property. After 1 month of launching, they had over 1 million users, and in 9 months, they had 7 million. So then in April 2012, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook acquired Instagram for $1 billion. At that time, Kevin owned 40% of Instagram. So what's 40% of $1 billion? What? He has a lot of money. It's millions of dollars. So if $1 million is 1,000 million. $400 million, okay? 1 billion is 1,000 million, okay? He has at least $400 million. Ninth or something that's a year old, right? These days he's worth 1.4 billion. That's he and his wife at the Met now. He's a celebrity, he's famous. And in September of 2018, he quit Instagram. Not work for Instagram. You know, his dog is on Instagram, has 21,000 followers at the time of this picture. His wife, she's actually a Stanford grad. She has her own clean energy firm. And like I said, they have over 1 billion users on Instagram, and he left Instagram in September of 2018, around the same time that Facebook was under scrutiny for privacy violations. He decided he wanted to leave. So that's a great story. Well, for the subject of what we have, what can we learn from Kevin? Remember, the title of this presentation is How to Transform Your Idea into a $1 billion company. So this company is worth way more than $1 billion. He exited with 1.4. So what are some things before we get into the nuts and bolts of intellectual property, what are some things that you picked up in Kevin's story? Anybody?
Well, unless I missed, he didn't create it himself, but he got other people to do it, or leveraging talent and stuff like that.
That's right, leverage talent. Network. Uses network, right? Yeah. What else?
It took him a long time to learn all the skills required for him to be that successful.
Right? So he could recognize the opportunity, right? Did he do anything that you think you couldn't do?
Yeah, I think for me, it was hard for me to sell my business or my business idea. So the fact that he was able to get Facebook to buy Instagram, and I'm just curious what kind of mindset you have to be able to let go of something you feel that is just, so for me,
Well, I don't know Kevin personally, but from the articles that I read, the research that I've done on him, he was always positioning himself to be in the business of buying and selling, creating and selling business. So he recognized opportunity. He was never going to stay. Now, again, this was a hobby, so it's something that's very passionate about. He didn't want to leave. But he's like, well, I don't have to. He no longer had controlling interest in the company. He didn't agree with the way it was moving forward. Facebook owned it. But I think the main thing I want you to take away from Kevin's story is that Kevin didn't do anything, he didn't fly like Superman, he didn't do anything special. In the sense that we're capable of doing the same thing if we have the mindset for it. Yes, sir.
I was just thinking about it. That for myself, right, computer science back in the day, for him to acknowledge at some point when he got to, either before or right when he got to Stanford, he realized that his skill set may not be as well as his peers from a computer science perspective. So he, instead of deciding to go into something that he may not be is skilled in, he decided to focus on something that he does have a better skill at, and that's related to business
Right.
management, right? And then coupling himself with the network that he built there, he was able to, one, discern what he did understand with computer science, right? Engineering, basically, could be utilized in the business aspect, and that's how he basically grew his networking, grew his value from that as part of that as well.
So also nothing, knowing when to pivot.
Yeah.
All these things I'm talking about is a mindset of business, a mindset of an entrepreneur. I want to go through a little bit about the intellectual property, and then I have another example. Now, we can have the opposite story. Anyone heard of Snapchat?
Yeah.
Snapchat did a lot of the same things, but Snapchat is losing money. Everybody go out of business. They made money just as fast. Came out of nowhere. Well connected to Silicon Valley. Many of the same people. Snapchat is losing money. So it's not a guarantee that just because you take the proper steps and diligence to own your idea, it doesn't mean that's going to guarantee you success, but it's part of the process. A lot of this is also about business acumen, and building a business, building a value. And Instagram, the value of Instagram has become the user base, the number of users, the number of patents they have, the number of intellectual property protections they have, but the value is in the use of the product. If everybody stopped using Instagram would no longer be valuable. And where Snapchat was disruptive, their technology was adopted by Facebook and by Instagram and by other applications. So they're not as unique, and they didn't pivot or adapt. So the feature that they have is being used by everybody else. It's become part of just what's common. So now you have Facebook Live, you have Instagram Live, you have Stories, and that feature is no different than Snapchat. So in the filters that Snapchat uses, there are other apps that have similar features. Even I think the new iPhone 8 has emojis that mimic. So you can have a great idea, you can secure it, but you also have to be, it's a blend of business and idea. Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, I think the company offered to buy Snapchat.
Right now, Snapchat is in flux, so it may be purchased, but it's at a loss.
I think they received at that time. They're probably doing well, and then some of the features in Snapchat is going into
I think there were Facebook and Yahoo have been offered to buy Snapchat. They refused, and now they're in a different position. So part of that also was selling early. Instagram sold, and they had the backing of Facebook, so mainstream Instagram. It benefited from Facebook's strong platform. But let's look at, we're going to talk about types of intellectual property. One of the things that's important to think of intellectual property are your thoughts. I want you to understand that thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. Before Instagram became the app that we use, where did it exist? It was a thought, right? It existed in Kevin's mind or whoever his team. It didn't even exist in the form that we know it. It was, nobody liked it. It was a social media app. They shared everything. And then they trimmed it down and just made it a photo sharing app. And that seems to click. So now it's photo and video. For the most part, it's photo sharing. So thoughts are things. Thoughts are things. That's very important. So how do we protect our thoughts? When you think about thoughts, think about music, right? A song is a thought, right? But when we put lyrics to it, we have a beat, we make a composition. Once we make that composition, if we register that composition, it's called a copyright. If anyone's in the music, about publishing. Well, what that is taking your copyright for the composition that you create, whether it's the sound, the beat, the production, the lyrics, the performance, everyone has a right to what they contribute to the composition. It's copywritten. Once it's copywritten, it has a value. And you can only use it with permission and by attribution, meaning that I have to attribute the fact that you were the creator of it, the composer of it. If I want to use it, I have to have your permission to use it. I have to get licensing. Have anyone heard of ASCAP? ASCAP is a famous licensing company that owns a lot of publishing from a lot of different artists, and you can go through them, use the attorneys and go through them to get permission to use music. So this is a famous case a couple of years ago that happened where Robin Thicke came out with the song Blurred Lines that used Gotta Give It Up from Marvin Gaye. They didn't get permission. They said, we didn't actually use Marvin Gaye's song, we recreated it, we recreated some similar sounds. It's not the same song. Because they were properly protected, the estate of Marvin Gaye and his family, they were able to sue and they got over $7.4 million for using their idea, their thought, without permission. So there's value. There's some other examples. There's there's some famous beat. I can't think of the name of the song, but there's a beat. A kid put the beat together based on his playing around the internet. He put the beat out for free. A rapper came and used that beat, made it a smash hit. Kid got no money from it because he didn't secure his production with the copyright. He just thought it'd be nice if people would listen to it. I just want to share my idea. A lot of times when we're in tech, we are the resource. We are the idea. We're here to do the work. But we don't take the time to secure our thought interests. So we'll give our thought to a coworker, our superior, people get a raise. They file a patent on that. They trademark. And the company has a whole new wing, and he got moved to regional vice president, and she moves to president or vice president, and we got a bonus for that quarter. But we don't think about it like that. We don't think about the value of the idea. It's like, why? It's nothing. Because to come up with ideas, it seems free. You have to pay for it. But by actually protecting it, you give it value. I'll give you a different example, a different idea. Think about what makes a house valuable. If you were in Baltimore, real estate is big. What makes an address valuable? It's an address, right? It's an address. It's recorded at the county or the state or the municipality. It has a deed. It has boundaries, right? The same thing is true for your idea. You have to define the idea. You have to give it structure. You have to give it boundaries. If you're composing something, you're composing this art, this mural, and you want to benefit from it. You want to sell the print. Someone wants to take a picture of it, use it in the magazine, and you want to get attribution. You have to copyright it. You have to secure it. If you don't give it an address, it's free. You're saying that it's public domain. Anybody can use it. This is a concept in this society. Other societies don't have the same concept. Native Americans didn't have that concept. Land was for everybody. So, no, this land is mine. In fact, I'm gonna draw this little. Put my stake here. Mark my deed. You come over here, I'm gonna shoot you. That's a different mentality. That's the land that we live in. That you have to secure your property. If you don't take an effort to secure your property, then you have no interest in securing your property. It's free. That's the way the law is written. So trademarks. These are things to secure your ideas in the marketplace. So like sometimes you have a real fancy Instagram handle. Who has a big Instagram following? Anybody? I mean, big for us in here. I don't know, 1,000 people. Anybody have 1,000 Instagram followers? 2,000? You got what? 7,000? 700? Okay. Anybody in 1,000? You got 1,000? Okay. So let's just say tomorrow your Instagram handle. What's your Instagram handle? Just my name. Okay, so let's say tomorrow you get a million followers. So now, do you have a website in your name? With your name? Okay, so you already secured into this work. You have have you trademarked your name? Okay, do you have a business in your name? So if you jump to 1 to 2 million followers, you start getting traction or whatever. What's your business or what's your skill? What do you do? So let's say you get really well known, you do a video or you do a film or something like that. You blow up. You get a lot of notoriety real fast. If you haven't secured your name, don't have a trademark, what if somebody says, well, I'm gonna buy his name? You trademark his name for my business, and then I'll sell you the trademark. I'll sell you for $1 million. A trademark secures in the marketplace, it secures your brand, your slogan, your image, your name. It's something that secures you in the marketplace. It says, when I'm in this course of business, if I'm in photography, videography, this brand is associated with me. This is how I'm using it. I have a logo, I have a slogan, I have this trade name. This is how I'm using it. Versus this is like Impact Hub. Impact Hub, I don't know, what the trademark that, whatever space they're trademarking it in, you can't use that name. They can sue. They can take it to court. If we look at these, sometimes it's not even a name. It's just, what is this? Nice. McDonald's. All of these things here are different trademarks that have tremendous value. How does it relate? Your Instagram handle or your website, your Facebook platform, any platform that you are building, if you don't secure it, you risk losing it. Securing it means, again, it's $225 to file a trademark. You can do it yourself. You hire an attorney will do it for about $1,000. Plus the $225 you gotta pay the government. So it's worth it. If you spend, let's say you spend 10 years building social media followers, building platforms, if you don't secure it, you risk to lose whatever you build. It happens all the time. I get phone calls. I have this nonprofit I've been running for years. We just got a huge grant. One of my partners that started it with me, we fell out because we got the money, and he filed a trademark. I haven't filed a trademark, but we've been using it for like years. I don't have it. We have to go to court. No, you can't fight it out. You have to fight it out in court. There's no way to get around it. The person who acts first gets the protection. Any questions? So imagine Kevin and his team building Instagram and not getting a trademark. Would Instagram be as valuable? Or they possibly have to change the name because somebody else is using the name Instagram? It doesn't matter how famous you are if you don't do it. So this is, anybody know who this guy is right here? Dr. Dre, right? Probably don't know who this guy is. But his name is Andre as well. D-R-A-I. He's a doctor. He's on the show The Doctor sometimes. He's an OBGYN. He deals with sexual health and things like that. He's a media personality for medicine. So he wanted to trademark his name, and so he got sued. Dr. Dre said, you can't, my name is Dr. Dre, you can't use that. He said, well, number one, I'm actually a medical doctor. Number two, that's actually my name. And he won because there was really no basis. Dr. Dre has a trademark in entertainment. He said, my trademark is as a medical professional. So it's a different marketplace. And so his argument, his attorney said, well, no, you're still on television. You still have an entertainment presence. He says, my trademark that I'm filing is not for my entertainment presence. It's for me as a medical professional. So he lost. So there are two Dr. Dre's. So this is also an important point. This is my friend. I actually did some business with her. She's a classmate of mine from Georgia Tech, and she went to Spelman. I went to Morehouse. She's in Laurel, Andrea Evans. She actually processed his trademark. So this is something that's very approachable, something that you can do. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but it's something that you can, if you have a famous trademark, whether a celebrity wants a similar trademark, can elevate your brand or whatever you're trying to do. Any questions so far? So we're going to kind of run through this. I know we have time. Run out of time. So trade secrets. Trade secrets is ideas you keep to yourself, but you don't tell anyone. So think about this, like Coca-Cola's recipe. Anybody know what it is? Why? Kept secret. So you don't file anything with the government. You don't tell anybody. You sign a non-disclosure agreement, confidentiality agreement. You say if you work for me, you ever see this, if you disclose it, I'm gonna sue you till you own nothing, right? But really, you have no recourse. If somebody steals it and makes it public, you can't do anything about it. Like, I've heard that Coca-Cola recipe is published many times, but they just kind of keep it low key, so we don't pick up on it. Same thing with KFC, 11 herbs and spices. Angry employees have given away the recipe, but we don't know about that. When you look it up, you can find 11 herbs and spices, you can find Coca-Cola recipe, you can find it. So the thing about trade secrets is you can keep it a secret, but it's only as good as how well you keep it in the vault. You know, a lot of this is like for family businesses that have recipes, for example, or companies that are in the beverage business that have recipes, whether it's soft drinks or hard drinks, liquor, that you keep these things proprietarily in your family. You never let it out. Or if somebody gets angry, cousin gets mad, he goes out, tells everybody. She wants to tell her husband, and it goes off. You don't have any recourse. But this is another way to keep your thoughts protected, is to keep them to yourself, or protect them by keeping them a secret.
So excuse me, with trade secrets, they're really just protected through like NDAs.
NDAs, contracts, there's nothing, I mean,
You're not really filing anything with the trade secret. You don't want to file it and let it out.
So when we talk about trade secrets, we're also talking about things like your customer list, business.
Mm-hmm.
Like Instagram's customer list or Facebook's customer list is a trade secret. How Facebook, the algorithm of Facebook ads, is a trade secret. Google's algorithm. So this is the thing about software. Who in here is a developer, coder? So the algorithm for Google, if they gave that out in a patent and told the world, everybody be doing Google's algorithm, right? It's okay. And it changes, it's constantly changing. Nobody knows what it is. You can try to reverse engineer, you kind of get close, but you don't get the exact thing. Software, a lot of software companies, you have open source, right? So, trade secrets is a way that a lot of open source software is protected. So you guarantee that, okay, the software can be shared, but if you need to use it, you're going to have to sign a licensing agreement with them. If you sign a licensing agreement, you can't make profit off of using the software. You can contribute to it, but you can't make profit off of it. You can donate to our fund that's going to help us advance the software, but these are structured agreements, legal agreements that allow you to use open source software and benefit from it, but also restrict your use of it, so you can't use it for profit. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions about how we use these in terms of the technology space?
I have one question about that. So, like, if you have an idea, and for whatever reason, you don't have the means or the time to bring it to life, you saying like you can patent it just right away, like the idea. So if somebody else, by chance comes up with the idea later on, you can come back and say, hey, that's my idea.
Yeah. So all of these, with the exception of trademarks, you don't have to actually be. Well, I think trademarks and copyrights require you to actually be using it. If you compose something, you can compose it. It doesn't mean the song has to be out or the art has to be visible for all to see. Compose it, leave it in the studio. Copyright for it, then it makes it registered.
And that's the same thing with a patent, same thing applies. Because I got some ideas, I just ain't been able to bring them to life yet as well as like the application. So I put a patent on it, and somebody comes up with it later on by chance, it's dope, kind of my intellectual property.
So it depends, right? I'm gonna go through the patent. So a patent is a patent protects a machine, an apparatus, a system, a process, a composition of matter, so like pharmaceutical drugs, hardware, new widgets, come out with software patents. If they make the software makes some kind of tangible, real world impact, not just something that only exists on a computer, but it actually does something in real life, or takes data and provides you something else. You can get patent on software. You can patent a business process. If the business process is tangible, not just all in your head, it has to interact with something in reality. That's at least how the law reads right now. To get a patent, all it takes is an idea, reduce the practice. Reduce the practice does not always mean a prototype. Reduce the practice means that in my idea, my conception, I have broken it down where it can be duplicated based on my explanation of it. And so to get a patent, you have words, you have drawings. This is how you describe your idea. You're limited to that. code, software, it's not, you can't send the patent office your software product and think that they're going to give you a patent. It has to be described in words, figures. If you want to protect software, you can protect software by copyright, because it's a composed code, comes from the code. That's the actual code itself, though. So every time you download an app on Facebook or you download an app on your phone, you'll see they have, every time you get a new update, there's a new copyright. Because each version of the code is copyrighted. So that if you manipulate the actual code, that can get you in trouble. Yeah.
It's only
Yes. Yes, you're going to copyright. If you have a product that's software driven, you're going to copyright the code itself, and then you will seek to get a patent on the product. Now, a software patent has a higher threshold. It's a lot harder to get a software patent. We're going to kind of skip over this a little bit. Michael Jackson was an inventor and a patent holder, but it's not important. What we're talking about. He reproduces illusion, which you see in Street Criminal on a stage, creating something. You can see the drawing, the description, how you describe the pattern. And it has the name on it, Michael Jordan. So, Michael Jackson. There are three things to get a patent. One is the subject matter. It has to be useful. It can't be something that's just like has no use, has no value. It's just something. I want to get a patent on, or something that's scientifically impossible. A big one is a perpetual motion machine, or a power generator that's going to generate power from no source. It generates power from the air. Those are the typical things that will not be considered. You have incredible utility. I mean, something that you can provide all this value, but it doesn't really make scientific sense. So it has to be something that either is a new process machine, article manufacturing composition of matter, or an improvement of something that exists. So you can't get a patent on innovation on something that already exists. There are different types of patents. You have plant patents, biological patents, new plant technology, or different types of botany creation. You have design patents, which is the aesthetic. So, and all these are important. For example, anybody familiar with Apple and Samsung? They've been fighting in court ever since Samsung came up with their copycat of their iPhone. Does anybody know how Apple won the court case? It's a design patent. It wasn't a patent on the iPhone and how you use it. It was the shape and design of the iPhone. So that shape and design, one screen, one button. In the court system, they said, well, you're infringing on Apple's patent. So you have the same thing. You have one button, you have one screen. Your button is slightly different, but it's the same design. We award this to Apple. So design patent protects the shape and the aesthetic look. The utility patent protects the actual use of it. To get a patent, you have to have something that's new and it's not an obvious combination of two things that already exist. There's a lot of material I'm just trying to get to the end. We have what's that? Yes. Design patents, plan patents, and utility patents. And after this, we'll go to the next example, and we'll ask any questions. So the patent process is a process. This is what I do. I'm the patent process. One thing, again, I go back to what I said at the beginning. Thoughts or things. Thoughts or things. Their value. People have money. Venture capitalists exist. They have pots and pots and pots of money. What don't they have? Ideas, right? They're looking for an idea. What else are they looking for? They're not just looking for the idea. What else are they looking for?
Return on investment.
That's part of it. But that's not the answer I'm looking for because that's a venture capital is not all about the money.
Intellectual property.
And that's not the idea is intellectual property, but you have the idea in the person or the group or the team. They're looking for one, an idea that they can get behind. Two, the person is the vision of implementing the idea, the energy and the vision behind it. I sat in a meeting with the venture capitalists, and they had just met with someone, and they said, I need him to fail faster. So I gave him the money. I was like, what? Now, I'm just the person that does the right stuff to pat. So I don't have that dog in the fight. They're going to pay me anyway. I'm the guy, I'm like, this makes sense. He's like, he has the vision, but he doesn't have the experience. He's going to fail. But I need him to fail faster. So when he comes back to us, one of these things is going to hit and we're going to make a lot of money. That's what I said. The return on investment is not what it is. The idea, and then the vision or the mindset to implement the idea. That's what the investor, the venture capitalist, is looking for. So your idea is valuable. You don't have to have the money. You don't have to have the money. You don't have to have the money. You have to have the idea. Yeah.
So the part research and experiment in that aspect.
Yeah. If you have a good enough idea, if you have the passion for it, you can make it happen. It sounds cliche. It sounds like I'm telling a joke, but I'm telling you what I've experienced. Again, I'm like the person that I do the path. I'm not the venture capitalist. I'm not the person to be pocket. I'm the one that's part of the process. I got to figure out my next idea so I can be part of the process. And I see ideas every day. But in this process, you meet philanthropists, you meet venture capitalists, and they in the business of giving away money. And I've learned that it's not the money. It's the idea, it's the relationship, it's the connection. If someone had opportunity to invest with Kevin, how much money do you think those guys that gave Kevin $23,000 got? If he got 1.4 billion, how much did they get? So they want to be in the Kevin business. They're in the Kevin business. They don't care about Instagram or anything else. He has a good idea. I like Kevin. Let me give Kevin some money while he's starting now. So then when Facebook acquires him, I get my buyout. We have to think about that. A lot of times we think if we don't have the money, if we don't have the experience, we don't have everything, then it's not valuable. Your idea is valuable. This is something that we learn is half music, entertainment, how a YouTuber can parlay their YouTube videos and their following into an HBO show. Insecure. Anybody watch Insecure? Anybody heard of the Awkward Black Girl on YouTube? She said she did the Awkward Black Girl for free. She got people who were working, she borrowed cameras for free. They wrote scripts and things and ad-libs. It was free. It was people that she knew, her friends. Now she hired her friends. Her friends are on HBO. It was done for free. We see the end product. We don't realize the idea, the passion. She had a regular job. This was weekends. This was nights. This was after hours. It was the idea, the execution of that vision, and then it turned into something tangible. This happens in music. Who knows the first big artist to become independent and make a lot of money off of the internet? Who knows who that is? Soulja Boy, right? I personally, I'm from Atlanta. I don't like Soulja Boy's rap. I never liked it. I thought it was garbage. Soulja Boy got rich off the internet. And he parlayed that, his video and his song. Now he did do the copyright stuff. He did do the copyright stuff. He knew enough. He had enough people in his corner to tell him, copyright his music. Get the rights to his music video. So that when it blew up, he got rich off of it because he owned it. So again, the thought, it wasn't about the money. He didn't have the money. He was helping a little kid out from Atlanta. They didn't know it was going to be that big thing. So these examples are not, it's easier today to take advantage of your intellectual property than it ever has been. Who's heard of Louis Latimer? Who's Louis Latimer? Who's Louis Latimer?
He's the guy that patented light bulb.
Light bulb. the light filament, the one that we still use today.
Yeah, right.
Does anybody know that he was a day laborer? That he lived in tenement housing? That he worked for hire? Got paid like $60 a week or something like that with Thomas Edison. He also worked for Bell, Alexander Graham Bell. He has multiple patents as the inventor and the draftsman. Died broke. So we don't have the problem today. You can own the intellectual property. The system is not preventing you from getting it back. He signed his name on the patent, but he signed over all his rights to the company.
This is black dude.
Yeah. Most of the patent holders that you hear about Black History Month did not own their patents. They did not monetarily benefit from their patents. With the one exception, Elijah McCoy. Ever heard of Elijah McCoy? He was hated because he owned his patent. And he would not give away his technology to anybody else. So they called the real McCoy because his stuff was the only stuff that worked. All the knockoffs didn't work. And he got rich off of his invention. Garrett Morgan, another one, who owned his patent. Madam Cynthia Walker, a millionaire, for owning all the intellectual property associated with her hair care product. Okay? So owning intellectual property, even in a time where it's systemically very challenging and almost impossible to do it, just by having that ownership, people were able to amass great amounts of wealth. We can get into this another time about the details of the patent process. We're kind of out of time for that. These questions you might have: what should I do first? How much does it cost? How long does it take? Is it worth it? Is it patentable? We don't know. It's a process. Like I said, those investors that will be in the Kevin business, you need to be in the business of your own ideas, okay? So you are going to weigh the pros and cons. You look me up. So our last example, anybody have an idea what the last example of intellectual property $1 billion company? Anybody? Anybody know any $1 billion company? So, what's a $1 billion company?
A billion?
Yeah. These two guys met at Stanford University. One guy was a data scientist in his PhD. The other guy was in statistics. They met. They hung out. One of these guys had a cool idea. It's like, I have this project that's mapping the internet. So if I'm a data scientist, I can help you out. I have a way we can do that. So two of them got together, they talked to their professors, and they started this graduate project on backlinking the internet. They said, we think with you, they had this company, or thing they developed called PageRank. So you can rank the importance of a page based on how many links go back to it. And so we can map the entire internet. So they got together, they started at Stanford, a lot of these computers, started doing it for Stanford website. Started doing it for more and more websites. They said, man, this is good, we actually wanted something. Because before that, there was no search engine that would allow you to determine. You just type in a word, it was just, you don't know what's going to come up first. There was no ranking, no relevance. So, of course, I'm talking about Google. These two guys, since the last time I checked, they're worth 47.5, 48.8 billion apiece. What did they do? They said, well, you know what? This is really getting, we're getting tens of thousands of hits a day at Stanford. It's probably in public use. They're PhD students. What do? They say, well, this is going to make a great dissertation. Like some of us will say, I'll get a great PhD, I'll get published, I'll get written up. They say, you know, this is going to make money. I'm going to go, they got a lawyer, they talk to Stanford and say, look, we're going to negotiate out of we know this is proprietary, you know, you own this, but we're going to buy you out. Stanford accepted $50,000. They got freedom to do Google. Now they said, Stanford said, if you do good within a certain time period, we're going to renegotiate this. And so they ended up renegotiating once Google was valued at $5 billion, and they came back, and I think Stanford got something about $2.5 billion valuation for the applicant got. The point is that had they not understood the value of intellectual property, we wouldn't have Google today. It would have been a research project. It would have been a graduate science project. The professor probably wouldn't have made it Google. You know, so what I'm saying is understanding the value. At the point they saw the value, they had enough knowledge about intellectual property that we have something here. Let's not sell our idea to the university. Because everything you do at a university, everything you do at your company, even if you do it not on company time or not on company computer, if you have an employment agreement with your company that you work for, read the fine print for all the IP is created. It might be that everything that you do while you're employed and up to a period of time after you leave, they own the intellectual property. You need to check that out. They had enough gumption to say, let's go talk to our attorney, let's talk to the tax transfer department at Stanford and get our money. It made them really rich. That one idea at that moment. So there's a value in intellectual property, $1 billion, not, you made more than $1 billion. You guys made almost $100 million between the two of them. So it comes down to knowing the value of your idea. Again, thoughts are things. Don't just give away your idea for free. Think about the value of your idea. If you have something in your mind, it's patentable, trademark, call me, look me up on Instagram or Facebook, social media, email me. But that's the, in a nutshell, what it is. I'm writing a book on these case studies trying to help people, especially our people, understand the value of intellectual property. If you have any questions, that ends my conversation.
Awesome. Well, can we give Derek a round of applause? I think that a lot of us do have questions, so you actually have a previous slide from this that has those questions. If we can try to touch some of those, like another one before that. There you go. What should you do first if you want to protect your intellectual property? You know, how much does it cost? How do you know that your idea is patentable? How do you evaluate it? Can you talk a little bit more about that, please?
Okay, what should I do first? Do your own research. Do your own research. And I want to take a break in a couple of minutes, but I'll be here to answer questions. Do your own due diligence. That's the first thing. Don't always think you have to pay somebody to do something to get an answer. The first thing is, so to get a patent, we didn't talk about this in detail, but to get a patent, get a trademark, get any of these things, the first thing the government's going to do is look up and see if it already exists. Does somebody else have this trademark? Does somebody else have this invention? So what do you think you should do before you hire somebody to do it for you? Check it out, right? Google the trade name. Is anybody using it? Go to the patent office database. Is anybody using the trademark? Does anybody have this? The websites that you use that's free. You can look it up. Google Images, another one. Look up Google Patent. Go to Google Patent. Type in, describe your idea. Free patents online, another website. Look up and see, is anybody patented this? Is it worth me investing my time, energy, and resources to try to figure this out?
Is it like any jurisdiction you have to write off for that?
So patent is U.S. federal. So patent is from the United States. Trademark is the United States. Also, every state has some type of trade name or trademark. Like here in Baltimore, Maryland, it's called trade name. So you get trade name, and then the federal is the trademark. Through the trademark, you have something called the Madrid Protocol, which is the international trademark. Once you get one here, you can parlay it into an international trademark. Patents are not international. Patents are by country. So each country has you have to get a patent for that different country. There are trade agreements and treaties that if you get a patent in America or in Europe or certain countries, and you have the same patent pending in other countries, if you get one somewhere, they'll like grandfather in or just grant it other places once it gets approved in one of those countries. So every time, every jurisdiction, more money. Its own translation, its own attorney, patent practitioner. Every country has to have one of those. So what I do for my clients, I have a guy, he has an international patent. He just paid us today to do his U.S. and international filing that will grant him access to file in these 152 countries. He has to decide which countries he wants to file in, and then once he files in those countries, then I will manage it. We have international agreements with different firms that will basically take what we do and process it in their country and come back to us and still manage the process. Let's go take a break for about 3 minutes. We'll be right back. So just keep your questions, okay?
Okay, guys, thank you for coming. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. So, I was trying to do a trademark, and it actually costs about $275 trademark. Card, yeah, insurance card as well. Alright, we can turn lights on.
Lights back on. Lights that box?
The lights?
Yes.
Oh, can we turn the lights on?
Okay, so I'll answer your question in about 15 more minutes. Again, I have cards here on the table. Yes.
So when you do a trademark, would you recommend putting it in your own name or like an LLC?
It doesn't matter. I mean,
You own it, the system.
you can own it. You can always transfer it to the company later. Whatever you do. If you have an LLC, just do it to the LLC. If you don't have an LLC, do it to your own name. It doesn't matter. You own it. As long as you own it.
Yeah, keep that deed like that.
Yeah, as long as you know, sometimes you do it in your own name and you can change it up later. But just ownership. Make sure you good question. I have your
Hey guys, real quick.
So the question that I got is there any value in prior art? So we didn't really talk about this because we run out of time. But when you deal with the patent process, the way that you get a patent, you have to have something that is new and not an obvious combination of what came before it. So when you look at the landscape of whatever invention you have, let's say you have a new kind of cup, right? So we do a search, and a search is for what's called prior art. Art is any reference or any type of invention that exists prior to the date that you're applying for your patent. Okay? So it's called art. I mean, we say prior science, technology, anything. Say you have a new kind of pen, or just say you have a red pen. And you have a red ink pen, only get a patent on a red ink pen. And the patent office is supposed to say, well, if I look at prior art, I have a blue ink pen, I have a yellow ink pen, a green ink pen. So red is just an obvious choice. It's nothing that's new about it. It's nothing that's innovative. Let's say I have a pen that's shaped like a watermelon. that might be a patent, might be a design patent, because it now has something that's out of the ordinary, it's unique, and something that's different. So, doing the research, trying to see what's out there, gives you an idea of what's available. So if you, let's say you have a new app idea, or a new cell phone idea, or a new, some videography idea, anything that you have, when you look it up, you're going to be looking at patents are usually innovation is driven by problem solving. So the problem that you're trying to solve probably existed before you tried to solve the problem, right? So somebody else might try to solve the problem in the same way or a different way. When you do a search, you do your due diligence, you're looking to find out what type of solutions already exist, what are pre-existing solutions to your problem. And that gives you more information to come back and say, wow, there's already a patent for this. I had a guy who had a sports training patent one. He had, for a certain sport, he had a training device that he wanted to use to help improve your performance in that sport. I met with the guy 3 times, and then unfortunately the 3rd time I found exactly what he was doing. Like 100% no deviation from it. Like 20 years old, but it's 100% exactly the same thing. He can't get a patent on that idea. He has to modify it or show some reasonable improvement or innovation. So the point of doing this part right here, doing research and your assessment of your idea, before you spend $10,000, $20,000 on a patent. So an average patent costs $10,000, $20,000. International, $100,000. So before you invest that time, resources, your investors invest that money, you want to make sure it's something that you get a patent. Any more questions?
Can you patent a feature within a software application?
It depends. So like,
For Snapchat, they have patented the story feature, so it's about
they did patent it.
So how come it's in this very good?
The very they're fighting about in the court, I don't know, but they so a patent does not guarantee, doesn't stop somebody from stealing from you. That's very, people think if I get a patent, nobody will steal from you. That's not true. You have insurance, does that stop somebody from stealing your car? No. Just because you have the paperwork doesn't mean somebody won't be a thief. It means you can file a lawsuit and you have legal recourse. If you didn't have a patent, like I said, if we think like, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about Native Americans, I'm just giving that example because I know we're talking about social justice and this era right now, people are more sensitive to understand. If you live in a place where all land rights are shared and free, and everything belongs to everybody, there is no protection. Anybody can use it. We live in a society that's capitalistic that says you have to take ownership of your property. If you don't take ownership of your property, then you're meant to give it away. So if you don't get a patent, you only have 1 year once you release your idea to the public to get a patent. If you don't get a patent or pursue one, you can't get one because they say that you are sharing it willingly and freely with the public. So it's just something to think about. That's the reality of you use it or lose it. It's just like a trademark is different. A copyright, not so much. Similar to that. Any other questions?
And the only difference between copyright and patent is the copyright or the patent is something tangible, and copyright is like just like the idea, right?
Well, it's just different categories. Copyright is for works of authorship, composition. So like music, a book, magazine, artwork, a photo, a play, anything that's written, that's physically produced from the picture, code, the code itself, the actual code. You compose the code, you get copyright on the code. Now, I mean, that's not, if you don't have a patent or a trademark on it, doesn't really, I don't think too much having copyright on it, but it's part of establishing a record so that you can build ownership. Again, I have cards here. Ask questions. If you want to set up a schedule, a free conversation with me, you can do it. I can take your information and set something up. I run out of cards here afternoon.
for coming. Yeah, as you said, really quickly, copyright, you guys see that C circle, that's a copyright. You can start, putting that into practice by, putting the C sign on any of your content or your pictures or your music that you put out there. If you're not really knowledgeable with the trademark process, there is a link I can provide it to you where you can actually go and start the search to see if your name can be trademarked. It's an arduous process, but if you can at least try to look into the application process to get started. And then if you have questions, you can reach out to Tariq. He has an option to like a 15-minute consultation, and you guys can talk to him to ask him additional questions. And if you really want to put a trademark on something right now, you can put a TM sign on the name of that business. When you finally register with the federal government, you can start using the R sign. And patent, of course, make sure you reach out to Tariq. If anybody has any questions or need additional resources, they do have pro bono assistance for people that cannot afford to pay for patenting their products. So if you make about $9,000 or anything less than that, then the board of attorneys, the school of law, in many of the schools around this area, they can actually help you with your patent application, okay? Thank you guys so much for coming. Next week is career night. We're going to be helping people reviewing their LinkedIn resumes, and we'll have a professional photographer that will be taking headshots. So come if you need a professional picture for your LinkedIn page, come ready to pay $10 and come ready to have your resume sent and look at by like that you want them to. Thank you guys for coming. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
And I did want to just take a point and recognize my videographer.
Shout out to the videographer.
He does Instagram videos, YouTube, he's professional.
Great. How can we get in contact with you, Kadir? What's
Kadir.
your name on social media?
Okay, so I got my card.
Okay.
You'll show Productions on Instagram.
Okay.
You can follow me.
All right.
All my information is on my card, phone number, email,
Okay.
Instagram, all of that. So
He graduated communications from
I just did. I'm a mass communication major at Lincoln University.
Awesome. Congratulations.
He's trying to go graduate.
It's all right, traffic. Thank you.